Hey, what's up? I'm Ian, and I play in a band called the Fullblast.
So, how did you guys come up with the name The Fullblast, and who started the group?
Two of the founding members, the guys, they don't play with us anymore, but two of the founding members, I think they were out skateboarding one time, and the name Fullblast, I think somebody might have said it out loud, and somebody said, that would be a rad name for a pop punk band, and that's just sort of how it how it started. I don't know. I don't think it was any more interesting a story than that, but they were just skateboarding and sort of just floated into their heads, and it stuck somehow.
Just came out of nowhere. So, who are your guys' biggest
Yeah.
influences?
Yeah, I think it's weird. We had this conversation last week as we were sort of sitting around getting ready to play some shows about who our influences were, and I think for some people they sort of think that it's like West Coast punk rock, like Fat Records, like No Use for a Name, Lagwagon, that kind of stuff. But I think that I think the thing that makes our band sort of unique is that we have like much different in our minds. Our influences are not that. There's obviously going to be some strung out and some lagwagon there, but we came out of like a hardcore scene, so early on there was like Lifetime and Kid Dynamite influences. We got really into sort of more like melodic hardcore and like more like atmospheric stuff like Hopesfall or Misery Signals. Like we're all over the board, and I think that it's like we take stuff from like we listen to Sigur Rós records in the van too. So yeah, I don't know. We're all over the map. If you ask I don't think you would ask anybody in the band and get the same answer.
Yeah.
And I don't think you ask any of our fans and get the same answer either.
Yeah.
It's hard to put your finger on it.
Right. So, how long have you guys been together?
Yeah. No, I mean, the band started in 2000.
Okay.
And like I was 17, Andy and Brian and I were all 17, and Ray and Gordy were a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
And we toured, and it's like toured, released some like some like independent projects or whatever, and then really started to sort of come together for like bigger releases and stuff, like more sort of focused releases. In 2004, we did a record called Contagious Movement Theory. 2006, we did a record called Short Control Burst, and after that came out, we basically broke up, and we were broken up until basically the last sort of 18 months or so, when we started talking about doing this EP again, and we're sort of 7 or 8 years after the band sort of played our final shows and stuff, we started talking about writing new songs, and that's why it's been sort of like a 17-year thing, sort of on and off.
So for you, whenever you guys are touring, I know some musicians, their favorite things are like either sightseeing or food, but what's your like favorite thing about touring? Not like venues or music-wise, but outside of that.
It's been a long time since I've toured in the context of this band, so I like it's tough to say. Back in the day, like it would probably be like meeting new people, and like the fact that I'm 35 years old, and I've got friends from the punk rock sort of world that I met almost 20 years ago, and they still are sort of really important people in my life. I think that's a legacy, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy. And those are people that I would have met if we hadn't gone on tour.
Yeah.
And those aren't necessarily people that were in bands or whatever. They could be, either like kids at shows, people that put on shows, people that gave us a floor to sleep on, whatever it was. Like somehow those turned into friendships that lasted a long, long time. And so I'd say that's probably my favorite part. I think going forward, like we're going to go into South America in October with Face to Face, and the excitement around that is just going to someplace none of us have ever been before.
Yeah. What part of South America? Just like
we are going to we're playing eight or 9 shows in 11 days. We're playing in Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Chile, Colombia, and I think we're doing one in Mexico City as well.
Oh, that sounds so much fun. So what are you currently listening to?
Currently into, I mean, I'm a really eclectic music fan, so I'm sort of all over the map. There's like the new Kendrick record is in regular rotation. I've been spinning that new Paramore record a whole bunch this week as it just came out. That's like sort of like the new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm all over the map. It's sort of the punk rock for me is like it's gotten pretty stale, to be honest, and I feel like there's a lot of like sameness that goes on these days.
It's either hit
And
or
like,
miss.
and I don't. Yeah, totally. And I like I've always said that I like even going back to like to when all like when the majority of what I listened to was punk rock. I
Hmm.
feel like I always really loved 10% of it, and then I could like do completely without the like 90% of it.
Hmm.
So it was just sort of you either loved it or I had no time for it. And these days it's sort of harder and further between to try to find stuff that I really like that
Well,
I really
that and
latch
like,
onto. But I mean, there's like things like Beach Slang or
mhm.
Balance and Composure or what else? Yeah, no, like those two bands. Story So Far, I
Yeah.
listen to a lot. That band Basement from the UK is
Hmm.
like I've been listening to a lot for the last 12 months. So there's still some really good stuff out there. You just got to dig to find it.
Do you guys have any? Was it you guys just released an album, didn't you? The EP.
Yeah, EP came out in February.
So how do you feel like releasing that EP has affected you guys?
Um, Tough to say. I don't know that it's affected. I mean, the biggest effect is that like somehow somebody heard it and we get to go to South America with Face to Face. That's
Yeah.
like beyond what any of us had sort of expected or whatever. I think it's interesting to sort of put that out there after 10 years after our last record came and sort of hearing like what the existing fans like think about it, like the people that have been sort of with us for a while or discovered us after we broke up,
Hmm.
and sort of like having them sort of hear this for the first time as fans, but then also sort of like gaining some new fans, people that had no idea that our band existed, and sort of found us on a Spotify playlist at some
Yeah,
point in
that's
the
how I
last
found you
month.
guys was Discover Weekly, and I heard the Redemption, and I was just like, wow. So
Yeah, so it's like that's exciting for me. Is like we went away for long enough that like these like different weird little populations of fans would pop up all over the place, and there's some in Japan, some in Europe, but definitely some in South America,
mhm.
and giving them something new to listen to, and also I think the biggest reason we did it was twofold. I think is like a to prove to ourselves that we could still do it,
Mhm.
which I think we achieved like from our own perspective,
Yeah.
and number two is to sort of have a great sounding recording, great songs, um, like all in one package. It's like I don't think any of us we have songs that we love and we have certain sort of certain recordings we like, but there's never been like we've never had our favorite songs paired with our favorite like production and recording, and we
Mhm.
finally have that now. Like I can at some point show my kids or my family that I was in a band and actually be proud of sort of the whole package together. So
Yeah.
that's why we did it.
So is there anything that that you yourself do that's like to help you prepare for a show? Like, what is your routine, if you even have one, or do you just go up there and just do it?
We just go up there and do it. I mean, I think that like Andy and Bry, our bass player and our drummer, are really good at like stretching and shit.
Doing
I'm
yoga
always
poses, downward facing dog. Like,
yeah, basically like I like that's actually basically it.
really?
Yeah, well, no, I mean maybe not that extreme, but they definitely like routinely stretch. And Bry, our bass player, he's the one that does this most often because he plays in Wilhelm Scream as well.
Hmm.
So they tour a lot, and he's used to playing live. The rest of us all have to kick off the rest every time we do it. So they're really good at stretching. I am usually too neurotic to sort of remember and think about it, so I just like wind up panically walking on stage and just making
Oh
it.
shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason to it at this point. It's honestly just like survival mode every night.
You get what you get. Where are you guys from?
We are from Toronto, Canada.
I should have asked that in the
Um,
beginning, but
yeah, it's all good. No, we're from Toronto, Canada. We grew up in the suburbs. We sort of tell everybody that we are from, Oakville, Mississauga, which is suburbs just a little bit west of Toronto, and that's
Mhm.
like that scene was really sort of important in like sort of the early mid 2000s, like
Yeah.
Boys Night Out, Alexis on Fire, Moneen, all kinds of bands came out of that area, and it was really sort of a really vibrant scene for a long time. So that's where we're from. I mean, we're all we're all over the place now. Bri lives in Montreal. Our guitar player John lives in Ottawa, which are other cities here in Canada, but we're basically from Toronto.
What has been your most memorable experience so far?
Most memorable experience has got to be the band broke up in 2006, and we ended on like not great terms together, and a couple of years went by and we sort of sorted our shit out. And so we decided to the band broke up pretty abruptly. We didn't get to do a final show or anything like that. So we did what we called, our final/reunion show in 2008. So it had been a couple of years, and it was with a Wilhelm Scream and Living with Lions in Toronto. And when we decided to do it, it started at like a smaller venue, like 300 people, and then that sold out really quick. So we moved it to the next size up, which is sort of like 500 or 600 people, and that sold out. And then we moved it up to the Opera House, which is 1,000 people, and that sold out. And that sort of crazy enthusiasm and experience, like it carried right through the show. The show was nuts. There's we had a photographer shoot the whole thing for us, and it's sort of like I still go back and flip through those photos just to sort of try and relive that experience. I sort of compare it to like trying to plan a wedding, because you've got so many people you want to take care of. So many people are trying to be there. It's such a special night. You're trying to make it special for everyone. Mm-hmm. But then it goes by super quick, and you sort of don't. I was so worried about everybody else's experience that night. I'm just making sure that everybody that needed to be there was there and whatever. That I sort of feel like it went by without me even really. It went by so quickly. So
you knew
trying
what was
to
going on, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just sort of like I feel like those photos are there not for anybody else, but just for us to go back and remember, like, oh yeah, that was like, it was an hour and a half show, but it felt like a blink of an eye, and all of our most important sort of friends and family and people were there, and that was like, I think that's the most exciting part. So
if you could tour with anybody, who would you guys want to tour with?
Man, anybody. That's
anybody.
Yeah, I mean, well, like it's crazy because there's sort of like, I mean, if we could put on like the perfect bill and like the bands were still together and doing it, it would probably be like maybe like Lifetime, Refused, and probably something like Strung Out, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one because, like I said, we're like our influences are all over the place, and I don't think you could ever get the five of us to agree on just two or three bands to tour with. Or the list would be super long.
All right, if people wanted to check you out, where would they do that at? So social media links and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything right now is the Fullblast RIP. So the FullblastRIP.com, and then all the Twitter.com/thefullblastRIP, Facebook.com/thefullblastRIP, Instagram.com/thefullblastRIP.
All right, I'll link those in the description below for that. But would you rather have no knees or no elbows?
Depends how long are my arms without the elbows? Like the regular.
They're the same
full
length,
length?
but you just have no elbows, so you are stuck. Like,
yeah, no, I can't feed myself.
We're Hitlerin right now. So.
Yeah. I guess in that case, probably no knees.
You just waddle around.
Yeah. I spend most of my day just like lounging anyway, so I would rather be able to like eat delicious food or talk on the phone or
like wipe your ass.
Cheer or yeah, whatever.
What was it?
So it just means that I can't like run a marathon anymore. Then I wasn't planning to do that anyway.
ASL.
35, male, Toronto.
What's your MySpace address, and how can I get in your top 8?
Man, what was my MySpace at the time would have been myspace.com/Ian Fullblast. And to get into my top 8, you probably had to have like Jealous Sound lyrics in your profile somewhere.
Bicycles or tricycles?
Bicycles.
All right. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Like 5 metric tons.
All right, and the last one is Tupac alive or is Tupac alive?
Definitely live.
All right.
Check out the EP. Check out if you like the EP, then go back into the crate and try to find the old stuff. It's online somewhere, and we're probably gonna stop playing shows for a little bit, other than this quick little tour down to South America. But stay tuned in October, because we're gonna be like all over South America on social media, posting photos and ridiculous shit. It's gonna be it's the first time that we're gonna be like on tour away from our normal lives in a long time. So who knows what will happen.
Do you guys think next year you'll be planning a tour in the States?
I don't know if I don't think so. I feel like if we're going to do anything again, we'll do another EP at some point and record it and just sort of like see how it goes. I just feel like the more often we can just put these things out into the world, then you never know what kind of opportunities are going to find you, and that's what's here. So we'll just keep doing that.